So months away. We're probably months away from the Lehman moment, and meaning, that kind of one last flush down, somebody big goes bankrupt that you never expected. We're probably months away from that because we just don't know. There's still a lot of leverage, collateral pledged against collateral elsewhere. It is a great financial crisis for the crypto world. We built that, the Wall Street 2.0. And it didn't work again, shocker. And so we got to flush that out.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And guys, I come back with that video just to make you think. And we're constantly hearing from mainstream media that we're going to have that main event. But who told you first? That's right, the Crypto Teacher. I give you the truth, nothing but the truth. Yes, the truth hurts, but it sets you free. But what they're leaving out is this is all orchestrated by the Fed. They're going to destroy this legacy market. And then plus cryptos will be destroyed also. But that half of 1% of cryptos is going to rise, along with robots, algorithms, and drones for the fourth industrial revolution. The Fed has destroyed every sector in the legacy market. And that was all for a reason. Because they're about to put 70% of Americans out of work. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you first. Remember, they caused the problem. Wait for the reaction and run in with the solution. And we know the people are about to beg the government to save them. And we know they have that solution, that programmable money, blockchain that gives them the all-seeing eye. And we are constantly seeing new surveillance tools. And I'm going to go over that in a Patreon video. But if you thought 2007, 2008 was bad, we know the central banks have planned a magic trick for 2024, 2025. We hear those drums are beating, and technology is going to change the world as we know it. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you because he knows. When it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Policy error, but a Ponzi scheme. Those are his words. Pantera Capital CEO and co-chief investment officer Dan Moorhead joins us now. Dan, great to have you with us. Your letter was very interesting. And I didn't know that the Fed did not buy any bonds whatsoever for, 95 years or so until now. And then they went all in. So walk us through why policy is now a Ponzi scheme.
Well, yeah, so the Fed used to just control the overnight rate, and even that has been way behind where they should be. The policy rate used to, on average, be about 1.25% above inflation. It's now 700 basis points below inflation. They've just gotten the overnight rate back to where it was right before the pandemic. And when the pandemic started, inflation in the US was 2.3, and it's now 8.3 in official terms. And then there's a problem with the way they report housing. The true inflation rate's in double digits now. So that's a policy mistake, but completely separately is their manipulation of the mortgage market. The Fed used to not invest in bonds, didn't manipulate the long curve. They let free market actors like pension plans, mutual funds, insurance companies do all the lending in the economy. But in 2020, they decided to get involved in the mortgage market. They ultimately bought $6 trillion of government and mortgage bonds. And to put that in perspective, the record year for issuance of mortgages to all Americans was a quarter that size. So in 2 years, they did 200% of all mortgage lending in the US. And there's some big ramifications that unfortunately we're just seeing now.
Hey, Dan, so Fed's credibility, I'm with you on this, and we've been harping about a lot of different things. What's the most credible thing they could do here? Because, again, you've got Jerome Powell, who people have been following the Fed know at least this guy was a dyed-in-the-wool hawk guy who somehow got pulled in a different direction, different times. I'm not sure we defend that. What's the most credible move they can make to begin to build back?
Yeah, there's two things, right? They have to deal with the overnight rate. And for a long time, they said it was transitory or some supply chain issues. And I think to build credibility, they have to make it clear that it's not a couple container ships stuck off Long Beach Harbor. It's a supply of labor issue. We have twice as many job openings in America as we have people looking for a job. The unemployment claims in the US hit a all-time record low. Only 1 out of 1,000 people filed for new unemployment claims, which is kind of the odds of getting hit by a coconut. So they need to establish credibility on the short-term side, but really they got to stop manipulating long rates. They have to let the free market do that. And right now, Case-Shiller housing index is still running above 20% nationwide. That's not just hot markets, that's everywhere. And the Fed is loaning money in short-term at 1.5%, and even long-term rates are very cheap. We've never had that much of a spread between the appreciation of housing at 20% and mortgages at 5 or 6. That's literally double the previous wide in that spread. We had it around 5% in the 70s, and we had it about 7% just before the global financial crisis. And obviously both of those ended up disasters. So the Fed's really created a huge housing bubble, and they kind of have to get out of the housing market before that's going to correct.
Dan, it's Karen Feinerman. Let me just follow up on that part. So we know now that they're going to, as part of QT, mortgage backs they'll be selling. And how do you think that market will absorb that? And if you follow that through, what will happen to housing prices?
Yeah, so they have really not sold any mortgages. They're just saying that they won't replace all of those that mature. Unfortunately, I think they have to start unwinding their book and letting the free market establish the correct rate. Housing has been a huge windfall for homeowners and in particular speculators. One of the biggest issues with this policy mistake is it's not like, everyone in America owns a home and it's all great for everybody. 35% of Americans don't own a home. They're trying to buy a home. And even those that own a home, might be wanting to expand into a larger home for their family. And 20% of all homes in the US last year were sold to speculators, institutional speculators, with money they borrowed from the Fed, right? So it's really not advantaging most Americans. The majority of Americans, this is not a great policy. So they have to get out of the bond market, reduce their holdings, and let the free market find the right rate. Obviously, housing is up 38% since they started this policy, which is insane. That's never happened in our country before. It probably can't keep going up. And at some point, unfortunately, I think, housing has to come back off. And it does seem likely a recession is coming.
So Dan, I mean, we're grateful to be able to get both your global.
We're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
This effort. And China has big plans for this. They intend to seed their digital yuan into the global environment by giving it away to visitors at next winter's Olympics. When they arrive at the airport, they're going to get yuan digital wallets. They're going to receive digital yuan. They're going to use it throughout their visits to Beijing, and then they're going to take it back to their home countries. They see this as a huge advantage. Why? Because who controls the underlying protocols, who controls the underlying standards of the future of money will control the future of money.
Most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.